Hi, my name is Maceo Lewis, and welcome to ML Sports Talk. Today, I'm going to talk about what the Lakers need to do to put themselves in a position to win for next season. So, obviously, Minnesota exposed the Lakers' deficiencies. I mean, clearly, they were lacking in terms of size, in terms of roster depth, lack of effort on defense, lack of adjustments by coaching. So, clearly Lakers have some problems that need to be addressed. So, what are those issues that need to be addressed going forward? So, first thing with coaching, look, the buck has to stop somewhere. You know how the Lakers are. Management's not going to take responsibility. The general manager's not. I mean, you can sit there and point out flaws in the players, but bottom line, the coach is going to, the buck's going to stop with the coach. I'm not going to sit here and say that JJ needs to be fired, and I'm not gonna do that. But you know, the Lakers have a history of firing coaches, right? Darvin Ham, Frank Vogel, and I just don't like it when teams just have this rapid coaching carousel. It just sends like the bad message for other potential coaches. Like, look, we're not going to give you much time, much leeway to learn, make adjustments, and implement your system. So I just don't like that. But at the same time, JJ does need to learn how to, make adjustments, get the most out of his players. Like, I don't like it when he's look, I don't know anything about the situation between him and Jackson Hayes, but just sitting them for the whole game and not really putting them in there to at least go out and get fouls and rough up Rudy Gobert or just to be some kind of presence while LeBron and the other players get rest. I mean, I just don't get it. Like, it's one thing if you do that during the regular season to send a message and that ultimately, improves the player. But when you're down 3-1 in the playoffs, I don't see how that helps. So JJ needs to do stuff like that. And look, the Lakers need to go deep in their roster. Look at teams like the Thunder and Cleveland. I mean, the Thunder goes 10 deep. So the Lakers need to imitate that when they're making roster decisions and actually implement that when they have that roster. So that brings me to the next point, the roster. So what do the Lakers need in order to win next season? Well, first, the obvious one is they need a defensive presence. Now, look, the reason why we got rid of Anthony Davis is because he wasn't available, right? You need a different defensive presence who's going to be available, someone who's actually going to be there and play, especially when it gets down to the playoffs. So you need a presence that's going to be a presence in the paint, block shots, deter easy layups and dunks. I mean, they're clearly like Minnesota was just like walking through the lane and basically getting easy layups and dunks. You need someone who's going to be there to deter that, and also to get rebounds on offense. So to give your team second chance points. The Lakers aren't going to make 100% of the baskets, but you need someone who's going to give 100% effort to go out there and get the rebound so we can get a second chance shot. Same thing on the defensive end. You need a defensive presence that when the other team misses, you get the rebound so that we get those fast break transition points or give ourselves just an opportunity to score on the other end. You need a player that's going to be able to run the floor because teams, so for instance, Minnesota, they were beating us on fast break transition points. So we need someone to get down there fast so that the team doesn't beat us and get those easy shots. And finally, on offense, we need someone who's going to be a lob threat as well. So we also need like a backup that's going to be able to perform the same function like that because look, star players or any player in general can get hurt. They get in foul trouble. They need rest. So you need somebody who's going to be able to come off the bench and perform similar functions. So some names out there right now in terms of free agency are obviously Clint Capella of the Atlanta Hawks and Mason Plumlee. I could see Clint Capella being the starter for the Lakers, and then hopefully they could sign like a Mason Plumlee to come off the bench. So those are some names out there that could fit that criteria. Secondly, you need bench players and players in the rotation that have a long wingspan that can block shots, deter shots, challenge shots, deflect passes, get into those passing lanes, getting steals, obviously. Players who are going to play hard, get physical, get opponents into foul trouble, wear out the opponents, their leading scorers by exerting their physical effort on them. And Lakers, they need players that are going to help Luka because Luka is going to focus primarily on offense. So you need players that are going to be able to help him out on defense, just like what happened with Luka in Dallas last year. They were able to get to the finals with players like that. So some players that are on the agent market right now, like Nikhil Alexander-Walker, who we just saw in the playoffs, Gary Trent Jr. is another name out there. So you need players of that skill level to focus on and sign to make the Lakers a contender. Now, does Luka need to take some responsibility? Oh, absolutely. Look, I love Luka. I'm not sitting here saying that you need to get rid of Luka. Oh, no, quite the contrary. I think Luka definitely needs to get in shape and focus on offense, continue to be like that 3-point threat as well as a scoring threat. Someone who can create his own shots as well as create assist opportunities for us to score. He's great at that. But he also needs to focus some effort on defense, especially, and I'm not saying he has to play defense the entire game, but when we're talking about in the fourth quarter and clutch situations, particularly when the other team is making a run to try to close the gap on the lead, or we're trying to make a comeback and we need to keep the other team from scoring so we can close the deficit. Those are the moments when Luka if he's out there, he needs to step up and make a stronger defensive effort. And then you need to be in shape. So at 25 years old, you have the energy to both play defense and make those shots and get enough legs and legs on your shot. So yeah, Luka definitely needs to do that on the offseason. Hayes, well, look, JJ clearly doesn't trust him, and I think the Lakers are going to give JJ another chance. They're probably going to keep JJ at least while LeBron's there. So I mean, look, if JJ doesn't trust Hayes, that's it. That just trade him. But look, if he can get something out of Jackson Hayes, they have like a heart to heart over the offseason or something, and JJ can trust him, then fine. Let's keep him and have him come off the bench or whatever and get that star center like I'm talking about to start. But maybe he can be like a backup. But if JJ doesn't trust him, get rid of him, trade him. Same thing with Reeves. Like, look, I don't know what happened with Reeves. He looked like he was the third best option, at least towards the end of the regular season, and he just didn't show up in those clutch moments. Remind me of other players that have high scoring, great regular seasons, but when it comes to the playoffs, they seem to disappear. Hopefully, Reeves isn't like that, but I mean, he didn't show me that much, and I just wouldn't mind if they had to package him to get one of those players that we need. Connect, same thing. Look, he was a rookie last season, making $4 million. What, to be a cheerleader, and they were going to trade him to get like a Mark Williams and to address those needs that the Lakers had. And look, if you're not going to use him to shoot threes or whatever, then you need to trade him so we can get players that are going to add depth to our roster. Now, some of the challenges, obviously, the Lakers don't have a pick in the first round, so that's not going to be a viable option with just a second round pick. So the Lakers are obviously going to have to look at a combination of free agency and trades during the offseason and during the season. But when you have two max contract players like Luka and LeBron, that makes it very difficult. Look, I'm not going to get into the salary cap because it's very complicated. I mean, there's like the soft cap, and then there's a hard cap, and where you pay luxury taxes and stuff, and you find exceptions. So it's a very complicated thing, but that's the general manager's job to figure that out. But bottom line, honestly, I don't see LeBron making taking a pay cut. And I mean, to be frank with you, I'm not in the business of telling people what they should be doing with their money or what financial decisions should they make. I don't care if he's a billionaire or making $100,000. I mean, I'm not. That's their personal decision. But at the same time, the reality is when you take it a most of the salary cap, it's going to handcuff the general managers and the owners in terms of trying to sign quality players that you can add to your roster to fill those needs. So I mean, I know he's made statements in the past about taking cuts, and it's he's gonna have to make a decision whether he wants to prioritize winning and have that trust in management to get the players that he needs to be competitive next season with Luka. So Rob, we can say that he needs to figure it out, Rob Pelinka, but I mean at the same time, if your purse is strapped and you don't have that much to work with, I mean you can't give a Porsche dealer a penny to get a Porsche. Like it's just not going to work. Uh, so look, there's a lot of blame to go around. Some people may have to make sacrifices or figure it out. But those are some of the point is those are some of the challenges the Lakers are going to have to face going into the offseason in terms of free agency. And look, I hear people saying like trade LeBron. Well, the problem is he has a no trade clause, and secondly, I mean, look, the Lakers have to be very careful how they treat their stars, and the Lakers have a history of treating their star players very well. Exhibit A, Kobe Bryant, a few years ago. I remember people were complaining about, well, Kobe's on the down here. Why are they paying him so much money? The reason why the Lakers do that is because they want to show the star players that they treat their star players well, so that they can recruit star players down the road. Because if you treat your star players like trash, or you just discard them when they're of no use to you or at the end of the career, what does that look? What message are you sending to the other future star players? So I totally get that, and I totally get it as a fan too. But at the same time, the Lakers are aware of that, and I think they're going to treat LeBron with respect that he deserves, that he's earned throughout his Hall of Fame career. Now, going forward, so I'm going to finish watching the NBA playoffs. Obviously, we got Game 7 Clippers Nuggets coming up. And I'm going to talk about the Lakers draft. I don't really deal with draft discussions because I think the draft is overrated. I mean, rarely do you get like a Tim Duncan player that immediately impacts a team to make them championship contenders. But I am a Laker fan, so I do want to see if they pick up some in the draft that meets the needs that I talk about, or in free agency or trades in the offseason or during the regular season. So, of course, I'll cover that. And obviously, the WNBA's in preseason. I'm not watching preseason games, but I'll definitely watch when the regular season starts and cover the games I see in news and all that stuff. So, anyway, hit the subscribe button. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. It just gives you notice when my next content comes out, and also lets me know that you're interested, and I'm giving you something that you want me to talk about. So anyway, that's it for today. I'm going to watch the Game 7 of the Lakers Clippers right now, or in a few hours, and I'm actually do a recording on this movie I saw, Thunderbolts, and I'll put that on my ML movie reviews show after I finish recording that. So anyway, until next time.